What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the players who did not get hit with that franchise tag and will be entering the free agency market. We're going to talk about some of these top players in the NFL, where we expect them to sign when free agency opens up. All that and much more coming your way right now. All right, Nick. Well, free agency is upon us, and we have some players who did not get hit with the franchise tag that were expected to, or at least had the opportunity to, and that leaves a big hole or a big spot in free agency to say, well, now we have all of these guys coming in. Where are they going to end up? What is their market looking like? And why don't you get us started with the first person we have on our list?
Yeah, so one of the biggest free agents out there is going to be Will Fuller, the former wide receiver of the Houston Texans. He does have a 1-game suspension going into next season, so teams will have to know that. But the top 3 teams that we should be looking at for Will Fuller are the Miami Dolphins, the Green Bay Packers, and obviously the Houston Texans. And I think the Miami Dolphins make the most amount of sense here because they are so close to making it all the way. They got all their defensive issues fixed last offseason. It's all about the offense now, and they already made a splash with Isaiah Wilson at tackle. It's now time to focus on weapons for Tua opposite Devontae Parker, and Will Fuller does that. I think that Will Fuller will fit perfectly in this system.
Yeah, I like Will Fuller in Miami, and it's almost like a swap because Kenny Stills went from Miami to Houston, and now Will Fuller from Houston to Miami. Number 2 on our list here is Aaron Jones, the running back for the Green Bay Packers, or formerly at least. The market that I see for Aaron Jones is pretty wide open. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could utilize a running back. I'm looking at his old stomping ground, the Green Bay Packers. The Miami Dolphins need a running back badly. The Seattle Seahawks, who had Chris Carson, but he is a free agent as well. Doesn't look like he'll be resigning there. They could move on to Aaron Jones. And then you have the Arizona Cardinals, who just broke off with Kenyon Drake. So they have an opening there as well next to Chase Edmonds. I'm looking at Aaron Jones, and I'm just saying, I think he's going to either end up in Green Bay or Miami. I'm going to take Green Bay. I think he goes back. I think he goes back with Aaron Rodgers. I think he likes it in Green Bay. He likes being there with Devontae Adams. He likes being there with Aaron Rodgers. This is a team that he has grown to like and really wanted to be there. They were so close to making it to the Super Bowl. I think he's just got to run it back with them. And even if it's on a shorter term deal, 2 or 3 years, let's try to get that bread. But also at the same time, let's run it back with A-Rod one more time.
Absolutely. And as we're talking about the best at their position, Trent Williams, the best left tackle available, the highest rated PFF left tackle last season, he's got a huge market, even at age 32, going into his year 33 season. He, coming off of his first year with the San Francisco 49ers, was fantastic, and I'm going to look for the 49ers to make a push for him, but also the Indianapolis Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who lost Alejandro Villanueva in free agency, or potentially. They're going to look at this guy and say, he can help my team because we're in a win-now situation. And I think the Indianapolis Colts make the most sense here because you lost Anthony Costanzo to retirement. But now, if you look at the roster and the way it's structured, there are no holes besides a couple positions, most notably left tackle. You've got to protect Carson Wentz. That was the reason that he had trouble in Philly, among a few others, but mostly because of protection. And you can shore up this offensive line. Trent Williams next to Quentin Nelson, the two best at their position right next to each other. It's the perfect place for Trent Williams. I think that he can't go wrong being in Indianapolis, and they have so much cap space. He can get a blank check and just write the number he wants on there because they have so much cap space.
Yeah, I agree. Trent Williams and Quentin Nelson next to each other is a scary thought for any team in the NFL. But moving on, at number 4 we have Hunter Henry, and Hunter Henry coming off of a couple years where he's been injured, and his production has been down a little bit. He's still an uber talent at the tight end position, and somebody who is a top tight end in this league. I look at his market to be the Los Angeles Chargers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Arizona Cardinals. I think he runs it back with the Chargers. I don't think he's going to move anywhere. I believe that he stays and works with Justin Herbert. He's going to stay and work on their offense, work on their game. He's going to be the security blanket. He's great in the run game as well. He's going to work with his best friend, Austin Eckler. I think that these guys together are going to be a dynamic trio moving forward. And, don't forget about Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. This is a dynamic offense all around. And Hunter Henry knows that he's not going to find a situation like this if he decides to go somewhere else. I foresee him staying in Los Angeles.
Another tight end who has the upside that Hunter Henry has, but has no injury history, which is a huge positive for tight ends, is Jonnu Smith. And him being a free agent is massive. He's a young guy, and Tennessee is going to miss his talents if they cannot get him back. But other teams that should be looking at Jonnu Smith are the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Los Angeles Chargers, assuming they don't get Hunter Henry back. I think, to me, the most sense makes Jacksonville Jaguars. If you put Jonnu Smith, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, and James Robinson all in the same field with Trevor Lawrence, you can't go wrong. This is an up-and-coming team at this point, and this is the perfect team where they can grow together over time. This is a perfect situation for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is a guy they must go after.
Yeah, I mean, just to add insult to injury, the next guy on our list for the Tennessee Titans that they might be losing is Corey Davis, their second wide receiver, their number 2 wide receiver. And the market I have for him is Tennessee trying to retain him, the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I have the Steelers on here just because of the possibility that they might lose Juju Smith-Schuster to free agency. But I look at the fits here, and I look at the Cleveland Browns as the number 1 destination for Corey Davis, just because what he would do for this offense is absolutely astronomical. You have Jarvis Landry on the other side. It looks like Odell Beckham Jr. will be on his way out. So Corey Davis will take the 50-50 balls. He'll get all those jump balls. You have Kevin Stefanski running an incredible offense, 2 tight end sets. They have incredible talent all throughout that offense. If they can just get a guy that's a huge red zone target, but also can go up and grab those 50-50 balls, I think Corey Davis would provide a whole hell of a lot of help and expertise on that offense that Baker Mayfield's currently missing.
A guy that has a little bit more to offer than Corey Davis does, who might be regarded as a number 1 but plays the slot position, is Juju Smith-Schuster. This is an interesting guy because of how much he can do playing on the inside on the field. But Pittsburgh Steelers are going to want to retain him. They're going to try to get another ring before Big Ben retires in a couple of years. A couple other teams that we should be looking out for are the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. And if I'm looking at this from an objective point of view, and I truly mean that objective, I think the New England Patriots make the most sense just because they know this type of receiver. They have used this guy, this type of receiver for so many years. He is just like Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, and he'll be used in the same facet because he plays inside. They know how to use this guy, and that system is built for a guy like Juju. I think he couldn't go wrong in the system, and they have so much cap space, they can give him the number that he's looking for.
Yeah, I like the pick here. I think New England makes a ton of sense. But moving on, his former teammate on the other side of the ball, Bud Dupree. Now, this was the most interesting one that we have on our list because we weren't really sure what the market's going to hold for Bud Dupree, especially with other players that are set to hit free agency. But we take a look, and the Tennessee Titans really struggled with pass rush. The Los Angeles Rams are potentially losing Leonard Floyd to free agency. And then we also have the New York Jets, who could really utilize an outside linebacker. If I'm being objective here as well, I'm going to say that the New York Jets are in a huge play here for Bud Dupree. I think Bud Dupree makes the most amount of sense going to the New York Jets and working with this defense. He's got Quinnen Williams in front of him, and he's got Marcus May behind him. All 3 levels of this defense will have somebody who is a top 10, 15 player at their position. I truly believe that this is, well, if they can land Bud Dupree, they'll be well on their way to starting to build this franchise back up from its former glory.
That'd be pretty scary to see Bud Dupree and CJ Mosley on the same field, I have to say. But going on to our final wide receiver on the list, Kenny Galladay. I do not see the Detroit Lions making a move for him. They know that he doesn't want to come back. He's going to try to go somewhere else. And there's three teams in particular, all in the same division that we've been talking about: the Patriots, the Jets, and the Dolphins. These are the three teams that will be going after a guy like Kenny Galladay. And I could see him, as you said with Bud Dupree, I see him going to the New York Jets. I think that they're looking for a big guy. They had Brashad Perriman last year, and he was good, but they can get even better with Kenny Galladay, a big body for their quarterback to throw to, whoever it is, with Denzel Mims on the outside and Jamison Crowder in the middle. I think that you would have a very solid wide receiver core, and this is exactly what Joe Douglas needs to do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how free agency unfolds for the New York Jets, just because I believe you and I are in the same boat where we don't believe Joe Douglas is somebody who's going to open up his wallet. He's not going to loosen those purse strings. And it'll be interesting to see if Kenny Galladay is willing to take the minimum that he's willing to accept to go to New York, or if somebody else can outbid them and he wants to go there. Either way, it'll be very interesting. But the final player we have on our list is very near and dear to Nick and my heart, and that would be Joe Thuney, the left guard for the New England Patriots. An absolute incredible talent, probably the number one interior offensive lineman that it will hit free agency ever. But overall, Joe Thuney is an absolute incredible talent. I'm looking at his market: the New York Jets, the Baltimore Ravens, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Seattle Seahawks. It pains me to say this, but I believe that Joe Thuney will end up going to the New York Jets. I believe that the New York Jets have a ton of work to do on the offensive line, and why not start with the best interior offensive lineman available, Joe Thuney, who's been an incredible stalwart for your division rival, your arch rival, New England Patriots. Might as well swing him out of New England, bring him to your side, and let their defense figure out what they've had to go against for some time now. Overall, I think Joe Thuney is going to be paid really well, and I like the fit with the New York Jets. All right, well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching, and make sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.